And of course, welcome everybody. We're back. Coast to Coast, 49ers. It's Bryant Culp, David McNiner, and Mr. Ty ALSTON. If you've been here before, you know our channels. It's BC, Bryant Culp. That's what we're currently on. David McNiner, spell it just as you see it. And Ty ALSTON at the Stay Faithful podcast. And Ty does all kinds of stuff with a lot of other people as well. David does as well. And currently, right now, I'm just doing this. And I'm having a lot of fun with my guys. So thank you all for coming. And let's get into it. So we're talking about things, right? And things are always important. People want to hear things and, current things. And sometimes things happen and it's just not what you want to hear at the moment. So this is a football show. It's based about football. Sometimes on my channel, we talk about a little bit of different things that happen. If you see my icon, it's a 49er Batman icon. I'm a big fan of football and comics, and I love God and my family. And it's not in that order, but it is. Those are the four big things, and to me, right? Well, one of the guys that I've been watching for a very long time, because YouTube's a lot of fun. And it's a lot of fun. And when you start watching YouTube, sometimes people get inspired to have their own channel. Well, I've done that. And I've been inspired by many people that I've watched over the years. And for over a decade now, I've watched his channel grow and get bigger and bigger. And it's neat when you see the beginning of people's channels. And then later on, you see they got a gold plaque back there. Or they got, they've hit milestones and you feel like you've been a part of that team. So I'm sad to say, and if you haven't heard about it, the comic historian Benny Potter has left us. And if you follow the comic historian, if you haven't, I truly recommend you go follow the comic historian. It's a great channel, and he's done a lot of stuff for the comic community. And I'm talking about, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, stuff like that. If you're interested in that kind of things, he does a great work, and he's got a great crew. They're going to be continuing on his channel. His wife will be continuing on their work that they've done. He's done a lot of things like me. If you guys know anything about me, I do things with my wife. So Benny does things with his wife, and it's just been a great thing. So if you get a chance, go check them out. But we're here to talk about football, and we're here, so we appreciate everybody coming through. We got Wolf, another great guy. If you guys know Wolf, he's been somebody that I've had a lot of fun working with, and big reason I've started my channel. Wolf got me more comfortable doing it. And we also have Jason. Jason, thank you very much for coming through. I will make sure I send the comic story to you because I know you might get a kick out of that. But hey guys, how have you guys been? Let's start with David and we'll go down to Ty. I've been busy myself. I've been transitioning from one job to the next job. I've been joining orientation and just super excited about getting the hours. The hours haven't come because we're still in the training. And you just got to say it. You got to love it, right? You got to love the order of operations. So David, how have you been? It's been a minute since I've talked to you.
Good, buddy. It's summer. It's getting hot out there, right? Just cleaned up my property because our city, in an effort to keep the city cleaned up, folks, they'll drop off a humongous dumpster for the block and let you just throw whatever you want in there, minus oil, tires, and mattresses. For some reason, they won't let you throw a mattress in there. But yeah, just been getting things going. Keeping them going, right? Summertime. Right?
That's right.
Go play in the mountains.
That's right.
Yep.
Well, so it sounds like some spring cleaning might be going on around your area, even though it's getting closer to the summertime. Maybe summertime cleaning up. Yeah, can't throw away mattresses. People leave tags on your mattress. Okay, there's a reason you don't want to rip it off. Ty, how are you doing? I'm not one of those guys that will leave the tag on my pillow either. So rip that tag off the pillow as well. But how are you doing, Ty?
I'm doing good. It's been a good Monday. Did some cleaning myself. I'm sprucing up. I fly out to Orlando on Wednesday, so I'm feeling good. And looking forward to some R&R.
Awesome. So right now, currently, it might not be the most funnest thing to talk about, but it's what the Niners topic is currently going through. There's always something to talk about right? And I don't say it in a bad way. I don't say it in like, oh my gosh, right? We have to talk. No, we choose to talk about it. It's fun to talk about it. The first question I have for you guys: who's getting paid? And really, who's getting paid next? Because the person that I would like to say we've all expected to hear get paid, Brandon Ayuk, we've seen continue to wait. And now it's another player or here another player. And now you're hearing rumblings of multiple players now wanting to get paid. So right now with the 49ers currently, I want to say we're at 32.7 million as of June 5th. I think we have that much for cap space. Who's getting paid next? Let's start with David. Who do you think's getting paid? Because Trent's asking for the bag now, I think.
Oh, I heard something about that, but that they said eventually, and it's like he's under contract till the end of 2026. So
You talking about Trent?
Yeah.
Yeah. Trent?
And he's 36 years old soon. At this point, I think we'd be crazy to extend him. You know, yeah, he's a great player, but you're not getting younger, buddy. You know, if you're 26, then yeah, I'll throw a couple years at him. You know, why not? But he's 36. I mean, does he plan on playing until he's 45? You know, he's not exactly a QB that has all these roles favoring him for to not.
You can't touch him, right? You can't touch a QB.
So, it's just one of those situations where it's like, we got you under contract till 2026. How about before that year comes up, depending on how he's feeling, maybe throw a year or two at him. Just see how that goes. Don't necessarily pay the man right now. We got enough guys to pay.
Exactly.
So, to you then, right now, currently, you wouldn't say Trent Williams would necessarily need to be the next one signed, but just for fun's sake and stuff, is Trent getting signed before BA? Do you see them renegotiating it? Because this sounds like either they're getting to a point where they're restructuring these guys' contracts and coming out with more money at the current time. And that's the only thing that we could see. I can logically see at this moment is because every time they've went to the table, they've come back. These guys have been getting money right now, or they're getting money set up for the future, and our cap's getting bigger. So are they trying to get our cap bigger for a big signing for Brandon Ayuk? Or do you think that, hey, we don't have to pay Trent Williams right now until 2026? Do we necessarily have to pay BA? What do you think, David?
At this point, I don't think we don't need any more cap room to sign BA, because his money, none of that'll start hitting until 2025, 2026, around there. And if they structure it right, then we really shouldn't have anything to worry about for a couple seasons. And by then, there will be some guys retire, some big contracts expire. And, of course, there's always going to be someone else in line, right?
Yep.
Like that. You know who the next guy I see us signing is?
Who?
Amador Lenore.
You took my answer, man. You stole my answer.
What? He's homegrown talent. He can play inside, outside. He's young. Keep him around for a few years, right?
Yep.
It only makes sense. But
Ty, what do you think? I know you kind of
26 million, guys, is reported. It's just speculation, folks. To be the offer, I've said 27, 28 million is what I feel he's worth, because a lot of these guys that are getting paid 30 plus are literally the team's number one option on offense. And he has said he's the fourth option, which really, he's probably the third or the second. Let's be honest. But CMC is number one option, right? He is. He's the offensive player of the year. So, to pay someone over $30 million that hasn't had done anything, that hasn't accomplished that. If Ayuk accomplished Offensive Player of the Year, I'd say pay the man. But he really hasn't. So 28 million is where I see what I feel he's worth. But we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Yeah, I
What
echo
do you
what
think,
Dave
Ty?
was saying. I think Lenore is the one who gets signed next, to be honest with you. He'll come in cheaper than Brandon Ayuk, obviously. But because of his position versatility and just the energy he brings to the table and homegrown, he's the guy. We know they like to keep and take care of their homegrown players that they draft. So he fits everything that you want out of this regime. He checks all the boxes. So I can see them quietly working on a deal for him to get him done and then work on BA. So I think if Lenore gets signed, we'll see a signing about him. And then somewhere down the road, near the end of these 40 days of hell, Brandon Ayuk will get signed.
Yeah, I feel it. That seems like it's going to be the direction that they're going to go because we don't seem to sign these big players. Fred Warner, we waited on George Kittle. We did wait on Debo. We waited on multiple players until about August, and that's what the Niners have done. That's what a lot of teams do. Is some people say it cuts you off, or it drives their price up, but then in a sense, there's only so much room that price can be driven up to during that season. After that season starts, then that next price is that much higher, right? Because you kind of have to look at it and say, well, they're asking for the top for that moment, right? And now they know if you get signed first, all these guys are going to go past you, right? So if you wait, then you have to anticipate, maybe get the butterflies or something you're waiting for. Hey, the PG&E bill's coming. You got to get paid sooner or later, right? But you have to keep the bills, paid, right? So people do get nervous, and maybe that's why the drama comes out when it comes out. And sometimes you have family, and they are sometimes they're the reasons you do what you do, and they're the reasons that you also go, why did you do that, right? Don't speak necessarily for me. I understand you want the best for me, but because you chirped over here or someone chirped over there, now the direction or the tone or the look on my face is always going to be judged because you said that I want out, or you said that we're not happy. So really, money's the one thing that makes everybody happy, right? It's the one thing that might be the root of all evil, and it's the one thing that can really, if you have money, you can buy any dream, right? That's ideally the idea, the promise. So, these guys wanted to get the bag early. Okay, I'm okay with that. And then you see later on with the 49ers, at least with the 49ers, I see these guys getting restructured, renegotiated. And maybe that's like, okay, it's like a tag in, a tag out thing because this guy gets paid. Everybody's, hey, we got to pay him. We got to pay him like Ayuk right now or Debo, right? And then a couple of weeks later, a couple years later, a couple months later, we renegotiate, and then they get a different contract, and that drops the cap down. And then everybody gets a little bit more breathing room. In a sense, it's fancy business. It's the Niners organization being clever with math and being able to say, okay, right now we can currently keep you at this time within these calendar days, as long as you're structured to be paid this. But within that time, we need somebody else to either leave or we need somebody else to take another discount, right? Another team-friendly discount, right? So sometimes when these players are saying, hey, I want to renegotiate, it sounds like it's all bad. It sounds like it's for me. But my point, this time last year, we were saying, hey, what about Trent Williams, right? We can't really go ask him to take a pay cut, right? He's already taken a pay cut, and then he might be on his last dance, right? He might want to be out of here. So if we ask him to take, some money back, right, he might want to leave or he might want to retire early. Now, if we don't have to pay him or he's still on our books until 2026 and he comes to us and says, hey, can we renegotiate? We really have to look at the contract and say, hey, is this going to be beneficial for the Niners or is it just beneficial for him at the time? Because two things are going to happen. He's going to want to get paid and he needs money now, right? He doesn't want to wait for money later, and maybe he's leaving sooner than he thinks he's going to be staying longer, right? So you look at it like that, and then you have to understand too, by us giving him money now, what does it free up for us later in the future? So who can stay and who's going to benefit for this? So really, to me, it's fun. It's fun until the 53-man roster is here. And then after the 53-man roster is here, I like to look and see how much money we have left. Currently, again, we have 32.7 million. When the roster starts, we know injuries happen. When that training camp ends and the season starts, and it's nice to have a little bit of money left in your pocket to be able to go sign somebody, a playmaker or a difference maker, or somebody to fill a void. So currently right now, David, Ty, if we're looking at our defense, I know we had an issue last year with stopping the run. With us having a couple guys right now currently, Hufanga, I thought he was a great guy to stop the run. Armstead, even though I wasn't really necessarily the biggest fan or a hater of the man, when he was in there, he did stop the run. So with him being gone, and with our linebacker, I always forget his name.
Dre Greenlaw.
But thank you, sir. With him not being around, who's going to be our tackler? Who's getting these guys on the ground? Or are we going to just score enough points where we don't have to worry about the run? I know at certain point, you score enough points, the other team, they can't run the ball anymore. They have to go into pass situations, but we got to get to that point. So, Ty, what do you think? How are we stopping the run this year?
Well, if you notice, they went out and signed 2 guys who are short and stocky and good at just stuffing the run. That's what they do, right? So you can see, like we had a Kinlaw who was kind of tall, Eric Armstead was kind of tall. Well, they went to guys that get some leverage, hold their ground, and clog up the middle. So they didn't get one guy, they went out and got 2 of them. So that helps the defensive tackles. The defensive tackle position, you combine those 2 guys with a Javon Hargrave, we should be solid in the middle right now. Fred Warner will be back there. No Dre Greenlaw, but hopefully someone steps up beside him that gets the job done. So I think with the rotation that they have now, you have 3 solid guys who can fill in at the defensive tackle position, plus a rotation at the linebacker spot is what I'm thinking we'll see. We should be okay against the run in the middle. Now, the runs to the outside was the real concern. We saw that pop up in the playoffs where teams started going to the outside on us. And that was mostly due to the pursuit on the back end. And we saw guys didn't do that. Well, they went out and got high motor guys who can play defensive end that could help with that backside pursuit. Excuse me. A Leonard Floyd, Gross Matos, these type of players. Now, if you mix in a little like a young Robert Beal, hopefully some Drake Jackson, all these guys got high motors, right? They can move. If they could get their pursuit going and help that will help us as well. So hopefully, with these guys all thrown in the mix, and with Nick Sorensen's new old defensive philosophy, the run game won't be a problem. And it really wasn't a problem last year. Just a few instances.
David, how do you feel about Leonard Floyd? I think Ty nailed it. I think that's going to be our saving grace.
Yep.
We've been looking for a guy opposite of Bosa that can produce, and he's a 9 to 10.5 sack guy. Someone that can. Well, we had D Ford, but D Ford was a situational pass rusher. When it comes to running the ball, he's not going to set the edge. Leonard Floyd sets the edge. So we've been looking for him. Now he's here.
Yep.
We missed that Omenihu type of guy last year. 5'6" sack guy that can play outside, inside, and can also set the edge and come in relief of Bosa and Floyd, right? Now we have Gross Matos.
Yep.
And then we have the guy I like, Robert Beal Jr. I really like him.
Yep.
He was he was living in the, Chiefs backfield rent-free when he was in there. Wasn't in there much, but he was back there rent-free, folks. And that just shows that he has some potential. But, we'll have to see what he becomes this year. Hopefully he's a big piece in the rotation. Drake Jackson. Beyond that, bunch of question marks. Interior linemen. We have gone away from the big, tall, guys. We have. We got guys that are bowling balls, more or less. They're going to be harder to move. They're going to have leverage, and that will help the run game. We get Hufanga back. When Hufanga went out, that's when these guys, when we noticed guys missing tackles, teams were picking up yards on us running the ball.
Well, real quick, when he went out, that's when you saw them start to attack the edge some. Because he was that guy that would come down and be like that extra linebacker, extra tackler in the box on the outside and help stop stuff. So that was a big key.
And he was cleaning up those missed tackles by other guys because he was right there. So these are all things that, were highlighted by Hufanga's absence. And so far, his rehab is going great. He's looking to be back when the season starts. Linebackers. Missing Greenlaw is a big hit. Greenlaw's a great linebacker. He does not get enough credit. And we signed a veteran, Campbell. Yeah. Now looking at him like he might be he might be the third guy. What is that? Sam Will. You see, that's one thing I don't know, folks. Like, all I know is you got inside linebacker, you got the two outside linebackers, and the third string, the LB3 is the guy that always rotates out when the nickel comes in. See?
Yep.
Everyone makes a big deal about Sam and Will, and a linebacker's linebacker.
Well, yes and no. It's kind of like saying
on base downs, it's going to be important to know who that third guy is, though.
I'm wondering who the second guy is going to be. Anyway, Bryant?
No, I agree. I disagree. Like, your Sam and your Will, there is a difference because you got your lazy linebacker and you got your like a little bit more energetic linebacker, right? Maybe you put your kid with ADD, Sam, right? I don't know. Like, there's just, you got to have just the same thing with wide receivers. Some are good at the slot, some are good on the outside, some can do it all. And that's why, like, if you are doing something, you should try to do it. If you're right-handed, try to do as much with your left hand as possible because it just makes you that much more versatile, right? But yeah, some kickers, man, they cannot punt to save their life. They cannot do it, and some kickers can't punt, so it's like, I don't know.
Some punters can't kick.
Yeah, it's just so I do think being able to cover a player is very important, but it doesn't mean you can tackle. Or maybe you can tackle. It doesn't mean you can keep up with them, right? So you have to have so many guys that can do a bit of all of it, right? And when you do have some players out there, like our guys that we're talking about right now, we've lost our hitters, the guys who are our stoppers, right? The ones who aren't afraid to tackle. And it's going to take a little bit of time before those guys come back in. So if Leonard Floyd is that guy, awesome. If we can get some more work out of somebody else that I haven't named, maybe Womack comes in to play, or maybe Greg Odom comes in and plays a little bit more often, and because he's a safety, he's a special teams guy. You would think that those guys can tackle, right? You'd think, but I don't want to make anybody, hey, you said he could tackle. He plays special teams. No, that's why he's on special teams, because he can't tackle, right? So with that, it's just I don't know, guys. I think one of our keys this year is staying healthy. Every year is staying healthy. I like where the bye week is this year. It's right basically in the middle where it was, I think, last year as well.
Yep.
I think one thing too with us is if we go into the free, this season with a little bit extra cap room, if we do have an injury, that's gonna really help us. I don't think they're worried about stopping the run at this point. I think they're gonna just play it and they're gonna see how it works out. Drake Jackson, hopefully you show up. That would be really nice too. But the one thing that I do think is a little not concerning, and it's not alarming, it's maybe just the culture of the team right now. We've been around here since 2017, this regime, and they've had players that's grown with the team, right? Homegrown, I should say. Some people like homegrown. They don't want to go and spend, for designer stuff that other people's grown or traded or developed, right? They want it to be farm fresh, right? And we'll just say it like that. So you got players that's gotten older with our team, and our team's gotten to be one of the oldest teams out there with veteran players. We're not necessarily the oldest, and we're not necessarily the youngest. I do think we are technically, maybe not officially yet, because the 53 roster hasn't been set yet. But we got a lot of older veterans on our team right now. Veterans come with experience, and sometimes you want experience over rookies. But when you don't get those guys in to do something extra and you don't get to see those guys prepared, then when they are out there and they do have to play, that's when it's like, oh man, these guys haven't done anything. We haven't seen them yet. So with us having these veteran players and us continuing to sign players for 1 to 2 years, I don't see us changing that anytime soon. David, do you see us continuing to keep a veteran offense, defense, a veteran team, or do you see this team anytime getting younger? Because at this point, with the guys we got, our coaches not wanting to play rookies, redshirting players for a certain time, getting everything out of them, are we getting any younger anytime sooner with this 49er regime?
I don't see it. Kyle likes veterans, He doesn't. A rookie plays out of necessity. Elijah Mitchell came in because Mostert was hurt, right? On the D line, that's a different story. Bosa and Kinlaw both played as rookies. We saw a little bit of Drake Jackson, not much. But if you're talking like position players in offense and defense, no. Kyle does not like playing rookies. And at this point, we're hopefully about to see what the 2023 class has. It's 2024. Whole draft has happened. And hopefully we're about to see what the 2023 class has, right? And then, this year we did draft Pooney. We got one offensive lineman. But that doesn't change the fact that doesn't make guys like Trent Williams younger or Juice. He's getting to be what, 33? Juice?
I believe so. A lot of the players that I'm talking about, a lot of the players that I'm referencing saying that they're old are about 30 years old. I think Tabor Pepper just had a birthday, and I think that just made him 30 years old. It's
George
not
Kittle's
the worst
31,
thing to be. Yeah, it's not the worst thing to be 30. It's just one of those things. We are coming up to that time where our players are over the age of 30 more than any other team in the league, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's sometimes good experience, sometimes it's bad experience. But Ty, what do you think about that? We're about a 30-year-old team. We are drafting players around 25, 26 years of age. So it seems like we are trying to draft players from college that have a little bit more experience. You would maybe even say with a little bit more veteran experience, ideally, we're trying to get maybe smarter players out there, not somebody that's just a flash in the pan, somebody that had a really good season once. We're looking for somebody that's consistently put up good seasons or put up good tape. So with the way we're going right now, do you continue to see us continuing the same 1 to 2 year, sign these players to 1-2 years, keep a couple of good players out there, and we're going to keep our players about 30 years old? And what do you think? Are we getting any younger anytime sooner? And the reason I have a reason for asking this, but I'd like your thoughts.
Well, one, I don't think the team is old. I don't know where that's coming from. Like, guy's 31, he's old. Nah, sorry, that you're still in your prime there. You still got legs under you. You still get things done. That ain't old to me. And when you look at guys like Debo, BA, Lenore, Ward, Hufunga, Brown, Aaron Banks, go down the list. Them dudes is young. Like early to mid 20s. That's young. So we're young and spry. I'm good. That's cool. The whole thing was signing guys to 1 and 2 year contracts, these free agents. Once again, we know we got a quarterback that's going to want a new contract coming up. So we're trying to make sure we're not in cap hell and still trying to sign a quarterback. That's the position you don't want to be in. And David just mentioned it. We like to take care of our own. Brock Purdy is definitely one of our own. And out of all the draft picks that they've had over these 8 years, I'm pretty sure that's the one they're most proud of. And we know John Lynch just gushes over him at every opportunity. So, this year proved that they want to build through the draft. Well, not even this year. Let me backpedal that. Every year shows that they want to build through the draft. John Lynch and his crew loves building through the draft, and then he'll sign 1 or 2 free agents to try to plug some holes, fill some things. That's always been the MO. With this year's draft class, you saw a bunch of guys who took advantage of that 5th year and 6th year COVID season. That's why they're coming out a little older. That's the only reason. And you're going to see that next year too. That it's all in that crop. So, but they went for guys who had some maturity with them, who played in Senior Bowl. The 49ers historically love drafting from the Senior Bowl because they feel those guys are a little bit more seasoned. They got a little bit more of their grown man body in them. It helps. So this is what we're going to see. I think the team is young. They strike at that right age, and hopefully they can get on the field and participate.
Well, I agree. I think they're young, even though they are about 30. And the reason I say, and I'm bringing this point up is on average, I'm wanting to say we are pushing about 18 players that are 30 years or older on our team. And that's not a lot of players, right? 18 players out of a 53-man roster. But when the rest of the league has 12 or 8 players at that age on their roster, I think the Green Bay Packers have 1 guy on their roster above the age of 30. Now, again, every team's built differently, but I want to say we've been building this team since 2017. We've been building a group of guys. They've been here. They've been building and working together. It is a core. You could call them the Cabo Clique. We call them whatever you want. But there's a group of players, and it's been on the offense and on the defensive side that they've been building, and we've been growing. We've seen these guys grow with our team. We've had success, and we've had some dark games, but we've had a lot of success with these players that we've drafted. So with these guys that we are bringing into 1 to 2 year contracts, and then they're not the group. They're not the core. They're here for a reason. They're here. We need them. They need to do their job, but they're not. There's just something about it, right? So these guys that are over that age, that's been here for a while, that's the Niners that they're trying to keep together. And that's why the group is the age that they are, because they've been working together for the last several years. And it's been several years that we've been able to keep this team together. So it's upsetting when people say, Debo won't be here next year. Ayuk won't be here next year. You don't know that. You don't know that. I know. I watched the game this year, and it was the Cleveland Browns game, and Ayuk and Debo standing on the sidelines, and they both were very, very upset. There was some rumors, there was some mumblings. The commentators were saying things later, and there's been words that was written afterwards that said the team just didn't have the heart. They got punched in the mouth in that Cleveland game, and they're showing up. Well, we stumbled a couple more times this season. There was 2 more games after that, and then they got better. Right? Everything started clicking for them. Maybe they found their way. Maybe there was defensive philosophy. I don't think that was all the case. I think there were several key moments that changed. But again, with us keeping a core together, it's nice to know what the guy that you've been working with. It's nice to know that you can trust him and you know what he's doing. When you have familiarity, when you have a core of guys been together for a while. You kind of know what to expect. We're just looking for that missing piece, right? We're missing what? A block in the Super Bowl, maybe a holding call, maybe a fumble that got away from us. Maybe the ball didn't bounce the right way, but I definitely believe this team's going to be making noise this year. I'm expecting it. And guys, what's your thoughts? Is that too many players above the age of 30, 18 on the current team?
I'm going to say no, because I bet a bunch of them are like backups. I bet you it's like Mitch Wisnowski, the punter. Are we really concerned that he's above 30? No. I know George Odom is above 30. Like, are we really
30's
concerned?
when your toe falls off and he's not going to be able to punt anymore.
You get those hip pains, right? You can't really kick like you used to. But I bet you it's guys like George Odom and some other guys like that who are above 30, the majority of them. So I'm not even worried about it. Like I said, the core guys are all very young, except for when you get to like Kyle Juszczyk and Trent Williams, Trent being the oldest of them all. But we're fine.
And it comes a certain point in time where, you know, NFL players don't last forever. So you better be able to draft guys and, you know, replace production. Don't necessarily replace that player, because you're not like a George Kittle. Are you seriously going to find another guy like him? Probably not. You know, Trent Williams might not find a guy like him. You can find someone good, but you might not find someone as good as him. Juice, who knows? I honestly think we have his replacement on the roster right now. You know.
Yeah. And I just think it's something neat to think about, you know, and it's definitely something to look into when you do look at other teams. You say, okay, well, how many players and why are they saying we're the oldest team? Well, because we have 18 players on the team currently. The roster can change, but I don't see it changing too much. We like veterans. We like having leadership. We like having experience out there. When you look at somebody and say, oh, no, stay on vacation, we'll use you when you get back for the Super Bowl. They like veterans, okay? There's a point to it. And
they didn't say that. You keep saying that, and that is totally wrong. Stop saying that.
Well, they did tell him, because he asked. He did say this. So let's clarify this. Logan Ryan did say, would you guys like me to come now? He said, I'm about ready to go on vacation. Really did, not word for word, but this was really the conversation. I'm about ready to go on vacation. They said, no, go ahead. Stay on your cruise. Go take your cruise. We'll use you when you come back. We're okay. So we ran with the rookies for all of December. And then when here comes the playoffs and the cruise was over, oh, who's playing in the Super Bowl?
So I heard they called him while he was already on the cruise.
And he said, I'll come. And they said, no, stay on the cruise.
How you going to leave a cruise? You're in the middle of the ocean.
I don't know. That's what was said. So,
hey,
you know,
he's an athlete. He can swim.
Oh, he's going to swim. Okay, gotcha.
I mean, there's a way or a will, right? If you're going to be making millions or you're going to be playing the Super Bowl and you say, I want to be there, you'll make it there. So, but I don't know, guys. You know, everybody says something. They like to write stuff, and it's fun to read about it. And until you're sitting there and you hear it face to face, hey, it's just a little weird. Why are you going to be playing somebody in the Super Bowl who isn't on your team for a whole month? I don't know. You know, maybe I don't know. But guys, it's always great talking to you. Today we're going to keep it to a shorter show. Everybody who's here, I appreciate you for coming. We'll be back again. My schedule's changing, so I'll be in and out as much as possible. If you haven't heard that, then I'm going to be a broken record, and I'll say that a lot. But do appreciate you guys all for coming. And with that, guys, we appreciate you. And next week, we will be on David's channel. So with that, David, Ty, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No. Everybody, it's the 40 days of hell. Just stay positive. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's always go Niners, and as Corey Davis would say, F all 31 other teams.
Yeah. All right, folks. We'll see you next time.